Good morning, Ian Crouch with your 8:30 Hunter News update. Federal Newcastle MP Sharon Clayton says the government is committed to addressing adverse impacts from harmful misinformation on social media platforms. The MP chairs the Joint Select Committee on Social Media and Australian Society. Sharon Clayton says companies like Meta are allowing misinformation to be proliferated online while denying access to legitimate news media outlets to revenue as part of the News Media Bargaining Code.
Equally important is the need for open, transparent mechanisms and protocols that guide the distribution of that revenue. We heard that a lot of the small, independent, digital-only news publishers didn't get to benefit from the News Media Bargaining Code. And we want to see a diversity in Australian media.
The unsolved murders and disappearances of women across New South Wales, including the Hunter, could be looked into by State Parliament. There's a move for police to release more information to Parliament on dozens of cases from Newcastle to Byron Bay in the hope of finding possible connections. There's been a long list of women who've disappeared across the Hunter over the years, including Robin Hickey, 14-year-old Amanda Robinson, who disappeared after a school dance in Swansea, and Leanne Goodall. All three went missing during the 1970s. A Newcastle researcher will be honoured today for his work to improve the outcomes of children diagnosed with aggressive forms of cancer. Professor Matt Dunn will receive the Australian Society for Medical Research Medal in Canberra. It's been a very personal pursuit for Professor Dunn, who lost his 2-year-old daughter Josephine to an aggressive form of brain cancer.
We identified some specific mutations in Josephine's tumour which pinpointed potential drug targets. By chance, I discovered a drug called paxalicib that could penetrate the brain and suppress the activity of one of these key mutations. And since then, almost 6.5 years ago, our research at the University of Newcastle and Hunter Medical Research Institute has shown that this gene is essential for the growth of all DRPGs and highlighting a therapeutic vulnerability that we can target to potentially benefit all patients.
Hunter Water is encouraging anyone with queries relating to a new proposal which would see the levels of PFAS allowed in tap water slashed to engage in public consultation. The changes would mean the allowable levels of 3 kinds of PFAS in tap water would be cut, while there'd be limits on a 4th for the first time. Managing Director Darren Cleary is reassuring residents about the proposed guidelines.
They are developed based upon the latest scientific evidence by independent scientific experts working for the National Health and Medical Research Council. Anybody who has any questions or concerns, I encourage them to provide some feedback on the guidelines.
Submissions on the draft guidelines can be made via the National Health and Medical Research Council's website and close on November 22. Port Stephens Council will consider its position on the proposed offshore wind farm at tonight's meeting. The previous council decided not to support the plans until more information came to light. It's now up to the newly elected councillors if they also support that resolution. Weekly meetups will be held in Newcastle to help men struggling with mental health challenges. Mongrels Men has launched its initiative, which will see meetups held at Newcastle Beach Kiosk from 6 till 7:30 each Tuesday morning, with men to come together to walk and talk and grab a free coffee. Speaking on his own mental health challenges, charity founder Tim Hewson says exercise greatly helped him.
Exercise was an important way for me to be able to socialise and connect with others, and I found that creating those new local support networks with other men created that brave space for me to be able to open up and share.
And if you or someone you know needs help, call Lifeline on 13 11 14.
2NURFM Sport.
The Jets will look to take Saturday's performance against Melbourne City and improve upon it ahead of this Friday's clash with MacArthur. The club was valiant in their 1-0 defeat, competing aggressively with the 3-time minor premiers. Upcoming opponents, the Bulls, currently lead the competition after a 6-1 win over Perth to start their season. Meanwhile, Jet striker Milan Hammond is said to be on the sideline for the next few weeks following an ankle injury in Sunday's pre-season match with Sydney FC, while a new striker from Denmark is set to begin training for the club pending medical clearance. The Northern Hawks have confirmed New South Wales country rep prop James Taylor will join from Maitland for the 2025 Newcastle Rugby League season. Taylor featured prominently in the Pickers' 3 premierships, including being named man of the match in this year's decider over Central Newcastle. And Newcastle hockey player Kai Willett will head to India after Christmas to participate for the revamped Indian Hockey League. That's sport. I'm Jessie Dennett.
And the winning numbers in Monday Lotto are 3, 4, 13, 18, 22 and 25. and the supplementaries are 6 and 16. And now you're up to date with the latest 2NURFM Hunter News.